Hello everyone, this is a guide on how to replace the battery on your Sena 50S. Here are the things you will need. First is a small Phillips head screwdriver. Um, the rest of the things are optional and they will help you a lot if you do have them. Second is a pair of needle nose pliers. Third is a set of pry tools. I didn't have any pry tools, so what I did was I just used a flathead screwdriver and I wrapped it in cloth to protect the unit while I was prying it. Next, you need a new battery, and then you may need a blade and a heat gun or a hair dryer. Uh, so this is the new battery I replaced it with. I got it off Amazon for 32 Canadian dollars. Um, it's a 3.7 volt battery, 1150 milliamps. The stock one is 1000 milliamps, so this one should last a little longer. And just a reminder, um, I'm not a professional. Uh, Doing this may damage your Sena 50S. I'm not liable for any damage or injuries that occur to you, uh, and this may void your warranty. So the first thing you want to do is um, stick your pry tool into the bottom left corner of your Sena 50S, in between the wheel and the housing. And um, basically, you just want to pop it off. And you can turn the wheel and you can rotate the wheel, turn it, and slowly pry it off. You'll hear like a loud snapping or popping sound. That's perfectly normal. Keep doing that until the wheel comes off. It's basically just held in with some plastic tension and glue. Next, turn over your unit and remove the 7 screws on the back. The front cover should slide off. This is what it looks like underneath. Next, you want to slowly pry the 2 corners of the PCB. Uh, so you want to start with the one on the top right and then the one on the top left. Uh, Make sure you slowly do it. Be careful, take your time, as you don't want to damage the electrical components. You just want to loosen it up. Next, once it's kind of loose, there should be enough wiggle room to remove the white gasket around the PCB here. It should just slide off. Okay, so the next part is a little tricky. Um, there are two ways going about this. To be honest, I only did the first way. Um, the second way, I I have not done before, but I believe it is possible. So the first way is to wiggle out the PCB and the pins from the receiver, from the helmet receiver. So take a look at take a look at this photo on the bottom right. So there's these pins on the back of the PCB. Uh, they're 90 degrees to the PCB, so they don't lift out straight up. You kind of have to wiggle them on an angle to remove them, and this is the goal, what we're trying to do here. So uh, be very careful and try not to break anything. So this is the option one, how I did it. Basically, I after the PCB was loose, ignore the white gasket here. Pretend you took it off already. So the top part of the PCB should be kind of loose after prying. Now you want to pry the bottom parts of the PCB while also simultaneously wiggling and pulling the PCB upward. Okay, this is option two. What you can do here is heat up the bottom part of the Sena unit. Um, this is the helmet receiver, and basically it attaches to those pins we saw in the earlier photo. So what you can do is stick like a knife or something in these corners after you've heated it up, and it's basically just held in with glue, and it's connected to the pins on the PCB. So you just want to kind of pry it out, and it should look like this once it's out. So after you pop out the PCB board, the next steps are pretty straightforward. You want to disconnect the antenna. You want to disconnect the battery. I find that needle nose pliers are useful for disconnecting the battery. And then if you haven't already, you just want to push out this helmet receiver thing from the Sena unit. It's just held in with glue at this point. Okay, now you just want to replace the new battery um, and reconnect the battery terminal, uh, the antenna, and replace the gasket. At this point, it comes to reinstalling the PCB board. So what you kind of want to do is line up these connectors on the back of the PCB to the board on the bottom. So I kind of drew these red circles and lines to kind of show you what you want to line up with. Uh, you know you did it right when they kind of line up into place, and at the bottom where the helmet receiver hole is, you will see the pins here. They should be straight. If they are bent, just remove the PCB and kind of bend them back and make sure they're kind of straight. After that, you just want to insert the helmet receiver, line it up with the pins, and just push it back in. And the rest of the assembly is straightforward. You want to put the cover back on. Then you want to screw in the 7 holes. Put the screws back in the 7 holes. And then uh, you want to pop the wheel back in. This takes a little more strength. Make sure you hear like a snap or pop to ensure you put it back in. And then you want to test your Sena to make sure it's working properly. Try turning it on. Um, uh, what I did was I just listened to some Spotify in my helmet. I checked the battery level in my Sena app, and then I charged my Sena to make sure that it could charge. That's about it. Hope this was informative. Have a nice day.